A new video has come to light which shows a large explosion in Moscow. The explosion was apparently caused by one of 3 alleged Ukrainian drones that attacked Moscow on Sunday. The area is located several kilometers away from the Kremlin. One of the buildings which was damaged during the attack is home to 3 Russian government ministries. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned that the war is now coming to Russia. This comes after 3 drones were allegedly sent by Ukraine to carry out an attack in Moscow. The Russian Defense Ministry accused Ukraine of carrying out an attempted terrorist attack. Flights at a nearby international airport were temporarily suspended amid the attack. Russia's annual Navy Day event was held on Sunday. It's a traditional show of might which takes place in the Gulf of Finland and on the river Neva in St. Petersburg. Around 3,000 Navy personnel took part in the parade. 4 African heads of state attended the event. 5 other African countries sent representatives. This happened after a Russia-Africa summit was held in St. Petersburg. A suicide bomber blew himself up in a massive explosion at a political rally in northwestern Pakistan on Sunday. At least 40 people have been killed, while nearly 200 have been injured. The blast took place at a gathering of the Jamiat Ulema-e-Islam party in the Bajaur district, which borders Afghanistan. Police officials say that the suicide bomber detonated explosives close to the stage where senior party leaders were sitting. Anti-France protests broke out outside the French embassy in Niger's capital Niamey on Sunday. The protest was organized by the country's new military leaders. Demonstrators stoned the French embassy and chanted anti-France slogans. France warned that it will not tolerate any attacks on its citizens in the country. Niger was a French colony until 1960. West African nations have imposed economic and travel sanctions on Niger's new military leaders. They've also threatened to use force if the military leaders fail to reinstate ousted President Mohamed Bazoum within a week. Some immediate actions include borders with Niger would be closed, commercial flights will be banned, financial transactions will be halted, national assets will be frozen, and aid will come to an end. The coup in Niger began unfolding on Wednesday last week. 2 days later, Niger's military declared General Abdourahmane Tiani as the new head of state. Chad's President Mohamed Idriss Déby met Niger's military leader Abdourahmane Tiani in Niamey. He arrived in the country after attending a summit organized by West African leaders. Déby volunteered to speak to the military leaders in Niger. Déby came to power in Chad in 2021 after a coup himself. Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid has asked Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government to freeze its judicial overhaul law for 18 months. The statement came as protests against the controversial law continued for the 30th consecutive week. Thousands of Israelis took to the streets to build pressure on Netanyahu. His overhaul law limits the powers of Israel's Supreme Court. Protesters say the law is a threat to democracy. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and his Australian counterpart Richard Marles met soldiers from multiple countries on Sunday. These troops are a part of the Talisman Saber military drills. Over 30,000 troops from 13 countries are participating in this exercise. It's a show of unity amid China's military buildup in the Indo-Pacific region. The exercises include mock land and air combat drills and amphibious landings. Firecrackers exploded in a warehouse in southern Thailand on Sunday. At least 10 people were killed and 100 were injured. The explosions damaged around 200 nearby houses. Witnesses say that the explosions continued for about an hour. Thai authorities are investigating the cause of the explosions. The local governor believes the accident happened because of construction activity at the warehouse. In climate news, rescuers in China's Fujian province are searching for people trapped in apartments and houses hit by Typhoon Doksuri. Local fire departments have been dispatched to evacuate residents. Typhoon Doksuri has brought powerful winds and continuous downpours. As a result, floodwaters have reached 2 meters in some low-lying areas. It has also put some houses at the risk of collapse. Meanwhile, a total of 52 flights were cancelled at Beijing's International Airport on Sunday. This was due to continuous rainfall. Domestic airlines have set up online and offline ticket refund and exchange services to help passengers adjust their schedules. Heavy rains accompanied by hail have wreaked havoc in Mexico City. It has caused damage to roads and infrastructure. Several areas have been submerged in torrents of rainwater that have left roads impassable. Meanwhile, neighboring states also experienced the wrath of the storm. Severe thunderstorms wrecked the U.S. states of Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. It left residents grappling with widespread power outages and massive property damage. The storms, accompanied by heavy rainfall and fierce winds, also caused significant disruption to travel. The intensity of the storm has led to multiple trees and wires falling. Footage shows a large landspout tornado sweeping through northeast Colorado in the U.S. America's National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for the area. It was called off shortly after the tornado dissipated without causing major damage. New Yorkers are sweltering under brutally hot temperatures and oppressive humidity. Temperatures have reached as high as 39 degrees Celsius. More than 175 million people in the US were under excessive heat warnings and advisories. Officials and forecasters have urged people to stay out of the hot weather. This is especially for people aged 65 and older, children, and those with chronic illnesses. Satellite imagery shows the scale of devastation left by a fire in the Mojave National Preserve in the U.S. state of California. Authorities say the fire has not been contained due to an abundance of dry fuel and high winds. The massive wildfire has spread into the U.S. state of Nevada. It has also sent smoke into the Las Vegas Valley. An evacuation order was issued for the Canadian town of Osuyus and its surrounding districts. This was after an out-of-control wildfire crossed the border from the U.S. state of Washington. An alert has been issued in the region citing potential danger to life and health. Efforts continued in Syria to contain wildfires in its northwestern regions. Firefighters and helicopters worked to spray the flames near the Latakia countryside. The fires there have been burning since last week. In recent years, Syria has been hit with rising heat as well as erratic rainfall. A global heat wave and high temperatures have affected tourism in Jordan. Reservations at the Dead Sea Resort in the West Asian nation have reduced by 20%. Temperatures at the Dead Sea are expected to range between 41 and 43 degrees Celsius in the coming days. However, a resort official said reservations are expected to bounce back between September and November. Now for business and tech news. Officials and some residents in San Francisco are unhappy with the new sign for the messaging platform X, formerly known as Twitter. Neighbors have complained that the lights are intrusive. Meanwhile, San Francisco's Department of Building Inspection has opened an investigation into the structure. It says that the building might be in violation of city rules. Malaysia may hold back on its plan to take legal action against Meta platforms. This is following a quote-unquote positive engagement with the Facebook parent company on tackling harmful content on the site. Last month, Malaysia's communications regulator had said it would take legal action against the firm. This was for Meta's failure to act against harmful content related to race, religion, online gambling, and advertisements. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration of the US, or NASA, will launch a new streaming service later this year. It will be called NASA Plus. It will be an ad-free, no-cost streaming service. Its content will include the live coverage of future rocket launches, documentaries, and new original series. NASA Plus will be available via the NASA app on iOS and Android devices. The streaming service will also be accessible on the web via the agency's new beta website. A paralyzed man in the US regained movement and sensation in his hands. This was after his brain, body, and spinal cord were electronically linked together in a first-of-its-kind clinical trial. Chips were implanted in his brain in a 15-hour open brain surgery. This helped him send signals to a computer, which then relayed the thoughts to the patches placed over his spine and muscles. According to reports, Walmart has paid $1.4 billion to American hedge fund Tiger Global. This is to buy the hedge fund's stake in the Indian e-commerce platform Flipkart. The transaction will put the value of Flipkart at $35 billion. According to previous reports, Tiger Global held about 4% of the e-commerce firm. France's privacy watchdog has sounded alarms over Sam Altman's WorldCoin project. The French regulator has questioned the legality of WorldCoin's biometric data collection method. The process requires users to provide their iris scans in exchange for a digital ID. In certain countries, the project also offers free cryptocurrencies. Last week, Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT maker OpenAI, launched his cryptocurrency called the WorldCoin token. Reports say an initial public offering of Jack Ma's Ant Group is unlikely in the short term. This is contrary to earlier reports that suggested the Ant Group was planning to restructure its business to pave the way for a Hong Kong IPO. Earlier this month, Chinese authorities announced a nearly $1 billion fine for the fintech giant. Investors believed that this fine was a key step towards the de-escalation of China's crackdown on the fintech sector. The International Monetary Fund says it has reached a staff-level agreement with Argentina. This is to disburse about $7.5 billion to the debt-laden Latin American nation. The IMF will also complete its fifth and sixth reviews of its $44 billion loan program for the country. The new agreement, however, still needs the approval of the IMF Executive Board. The body says its board will meet in the second half of August to consider the agreement. US President Joe Biden is reportedly planning to sign an executive order by mid-August. This is allegedly to limit critical US technology investments in China. The executive order focuses on semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. Reports say it won't affect any existing investments and will only prohibit certain transactions. However, the restrictions won't take effect until next year. China has said that it is willing to deepen cooperation with France in areas such as finance, science, and technological innovation. The country also says it hopes France can help stabilize EU-China relations. This was during a meeting between Chinese and French officials. China is France's third largest trading partner behind the European Union and the United States. However, French firms are becoming increasingly concerned that they could get caught between the US-China rivalry. Moving to sports. In cricket, the fifth Ashes Test match in the ongoing series was abandoned on day 4. This was due to rain at the Oval Stadium in London on Sunday. Australia started off strong with openers David Warner and Usman Khawaja scoring 135 runs. England have set a target of 384 runs and are playing to level the Test series 2-all. However, Australia have already retained the Ashes irrespective of the results of the final match. England fast bowler Stuart Broad said he will retire after the ongoing Ashes Test series at the Oval. He has taken 20 wickets in the series so far, the most by an England player. His 17-year-long career is set to come to an end, with him being the 5th highest wicket taker in the history of Test cricket. The West Indies beat India in the second one-day international match by 6 wickets at Barbados. The hosts levelled the score to 1-all in the ongoing 3-match ODI series against India. The third and final match will be played tomorrow. This is the first win for the West Indies in the last 10 ODIs it has played against India. In the FIFA Women's Football World Cup, Morocco beat South Korea 1-0 in yesterday's match. Moroccan defender Nouhela Benzina became the first player to compete at a World Cup wearing a hijab. She sported the headscarf during Morocco's match against South Korea. This was 25-year-old Benzina's first appearance at the tournament. Colombia beat two-time world champion Germany 2-1 in their World Cup match. The winning goal from Colombia came in the 97th minute. This is the first time Germany has lost a Women's World Cup match, a group stage match, since 1995. The Colombians now need to win against Morocco to secure their spot in the final 16. Spanish football club Barcelona beat Real Madrid 3-0 in a pre-season friendly El Clasico. Barca's Ousmane Dembele scored the first goal. This was followed by Fermin Lopez and Ferran Torres scoring in the second half. Barca will complete their pre-season tour with a game against AC Milan in Las Vegas on August 2nd. French football player Alain Saint-Maximin has left the English Premier League club Newcastle United to join Saudi Pro League club Al Ahly. The French forward made 124 appearances for Newcastle and has scored 13 goals. He is the 4th high-profile player to join the Saudi League this summer. The financial details of his signing have not been disclosed yet. English Premier League club Chelsea have reached a deal with Monaco to sign French defender Axel Disasi. The 25-year-old will join Chelsea in a deal reportedly worth $49 million. He will be covering for fellow French centre-back Wesley Fofana, who is currently injured. In badminton, Danish shuttler Victor Alexson won the 2023 Japan Open. He defeated his Indonesian opponent 21-7, 21-18 to claim the title in the men's singles category. This is Alexson's 3rd Badminton World Federation title this year. In Formula 1, Red Bull's Max Verstappen won the Belgian Grand Prix. This is despite having started behind 5 racers. This marks his 8th consecutive F1 win. Verstappen is now looking to match Sebastian Vettel's F1 record of 9 wins in a row. In entertainment news, director Greta Gerwig's movie Barbie has earned more than $770 million in the international box office. The movie is just about $230 million short of joining the $1 billion club. It's expected to reach this milestone by next weekend. If this happens, Barbie will be the first Hollywood movie directed by a woman to earn $1 billion. And the movie has been in theaters for only 12 days. SAG-AFTRA, the American union representing striking Hollywood actors, has responded to the controversy of interim agreements. Interim agreements allow truly independent projects to continue being filmed during the strike. However, they must agree to be bound by the terms of the deal that the union will reach with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers. SAG-AFTRA has said that this is a vital part of their strategic approach towards the strike. Actor Brad Pitt has paused the production of his upcoming Formula One feature film. The step has been taken in support of Hollywood's writers and actors who are on strike. Seven-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton is a co-producer on the currently unnamed movie. Brad Pitt is playing the role of an F1 driver who competed in the 1990s but moved to racing in other disciplines after suffering a horrible crash. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has come out as a Swiftie. He attended singer Taylor Swift's Eras concert in California with his wife and daughters. The billionaire shared pictures from the concert on Instagram with the caption, "A life of a girl dad." Responding to a comment, Zuckerberg said he is in his lover era. He had let his daughters draw a heart on his face and dye his hair blue. A seismologist has said that singer Taylor Swift's fans triggered a small earthquake in the American city of Seattle. The Swifties caused a seismic activity equal to 2.3 magnitude earthquake. It has been termed as the Swiftquake. This happened over the weekend when Taylor Swift was performing at a sold-out concert in Seattle. Swift is in the middle of her Eras tour. American rapper Cardi B threw her mic at an audience member during a performance after they splashed a drink on her. Cardi B's security guards then intervened and dragged the audience members away from the arena. The cases of fans throwing things at artists during performances have increased. Singer Harry Styles recently faced a similar event in Vienna where he was struck by a bouquet of roses. Singer Madonna took to social media to thank her loved ones who supported her during her hospitalization last month. She said, and I quote, "My children really showed up for me. I saw a side to them I had never seen before." In June, Madonna was hospitalized due to a bacterial infection. The Grammy-winning singer had to postpone her world tour to fully recover. Actor Mandy Moore has opened up about a health scare that her 2-year-old son recently faced. Moore said that her son had an unexplained rash which was a result of Giannotti-Crosty syndrome. She added that parenting is hard and sometimes it makes you feel hopeless. Mandy Moore is famous for playing the character of Rebecca Pearson in the famous drama series This Is Us. Veteran filmmaker Oliver Stone has voiced his regret over voting for US President Joe Biden. He said that he fears that the US leader may take America into the Third World War. He said, and I quote, "It seems that he's dragging us stupidly into a confrontation with a power that is not going to give up." Stone recently worked on a documentary called Ukraine on Fire. He said he uncovered the causes of the conflict in Eastern Europe. Actor Zachary Ty Bryan has reportedly been arrested for domestic violence for the second time. Bryan was reportedly arrested on Friday for violating an Abuse Prevention Act. In 2021, Bryan pleaded guilty to 2 felony counts in a domestic violence case in Oregon in the US. He was arrested and booked for harassment, coercion, strangulation, and interference with reporting the case.